Welcome to the Pesky Report, a podcast for Red Sox fans.
Ed, are you frozen? Uh-oh. All right, well, I guess I'll do the intro. Welcome to the Pesky Report. I'm Tim, that's Ed, and I'm joined by Bradley Blalock today. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I think Ed's going to be right back. There he is.
Sorry about that. I think I was saying this to Tim before we got started. My Wi-Fi tends to kick me out at the least convenient time. That certainly was one of them. What did I miss?
Oh, I just did the intro for you.
Oh, hell yeah! Thanks, Tim. What did you tell? Did you tell them who our guest is today?
Yeah, I sure did.
Awesome. Awesome. How are you doing, Bradley?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be on here and join y'all.
Yeah, we're real happy to have you here today. So you're from Georgia, right?
Yes, I'm right outside of Atlanta, probably about 30 minutes north.
Cool.
Gwinnett County.
You grew up a Braves fan?
I did.
What? Who was your favorite player growing up?
Probably growing up, I liked Chipper Jones, Brian McCann, Jace Peterson, but he didn't play for the Braves long. But those three guys were my favorite just growing up.
That's it. That's interesting, Peterson. What was it about Peterson? Because those two are pretty big name guys, and I mean, Peterson's still playing. He had a pretty good year with I think the Brewers last year.
Yeah, I mean, he was just kind of like an underdog and kind of just grinded his way up there. And I mean, it was just I like the way he played. He played hard. Wasn't a big name guy, and he always was playing though. So I loved watching him.
Yeah, that versatility, especially he's almost a precursor to a lot of guys that you'll see in the game now. But did you grow up going to a lot of games, or were you a big baseball family?
I didn't really grow up going to a lot of games just because I was playing all the time. But whenever I had the opportunity, we went to several games back at the old Turner Field before they moved over to Truist Park here recently.
Have you been to the new stadium there? It looks beautiful. Everything I've seen of it.
Yeah, I love it. It's pretty cool because they got a little battery outside, so you go out there and hang out. Everyone's hanging out there, but in the stadium, it's pretty cool. It's neat.
Now, you were saying that you were busy playing most of the time, so it was tough to get to games. How long? When did you really start playing like competitive baseball?
I mean, I started playing baseball when I was 5, but competitively, I would say about 10. I played on this travel team out of Grayson, where I'm from, in Gwinnett County, and we were always competing. We were really good, so I grew up playing with them, and then with about 14, I made the change to like travel ball and team elite. So I started playing team elite then, and really went on the travel ball circuit then.
What's team elite?
It's like a travel team. It's kind of like East Cobb. I don't know if you've ever heard of like East Cobb Astros or I don't like kind of like the scout teams. I guess they have now. It's kind of like that.
Gotcha.
So they're like big down here, and they bring in guys from all over, but mainly a lot of guys from Georgia area.
Gotcha. And then at what point there did you realize that you were going to have a real chance to get drafted?
I really didn't think that probably till my junior year of high school. I wasn't really like the best growing up and playing, but 16, I kind of made like a little bit of a jump, 16U, and then once I got to my junior year of high school, it was like, okay, one of the coaches really wanted me to start pitching then, and I was like, I don't know. I really like playing the field, but then I kind of realized, okay, he kind of convinced me. It's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do if I want to play baseball. So started kind of taking that into consideration and working my way as a pitcher.
Where on the field did you play?
I played all over until my junior year of high school. Started in right field, and then it was cold, and I dropped a fly ball. So then I got taken out, and I actually got moved to first base. You wouldn't think that, but then it was like, okay, like they gave me an opportunity at first base, and I was always hitting, so I could hit. And I got the opportunity at first base, and then I was like, I don't really like playing first base, and our shortstop was really struggling. Like he was struggling at the time in the field, so they gave me an opportunity there, and I stuck there all the way through from my junior year till I graduated.
Wait, so they moved you from right field to first base to shortstop?
Yes, and our shortstop went to center field. He went to right field, and then our senior year, he went to center after Parker Meadows graduated, and he's in the Detroit Tigers organization.
Gotcha. So I mean, that's a pretty. You certainly not up here in like the Northeast. You don't see like teammates getting drafted. It's usually one guy, maybe in the entire like county if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So that sounds like that was a pretty solid team.
Yeah, we were good. Down here, Gwinnett County is really big in sports, so you got a bunch of guys playing football that are getting drafted, going SEC, and then baseball. You got a bunch of guys going SEC, ACC, and either getting drafted.
Were you playing any sports besides baseball? Were you doing like football, basketball?
No, I grew up playing basketball, and then 8th grade, I kind of just wanted to focus more on baseball, so that's when I kind of just transitioned into just playing baseball. But I played rec basketball just for fun until my junior year of high school.
Gotcha. Then they were kind of like, you can't get hurt doing something else.
Yeah, that's exactly what my dad said. So he's like, I don't want you getting hurt. So I was like, okay, I want to do something though during that time. So I actually reffed basketball a little bit.
Oh, that's cool. That's going to be something that keeps you in shape too.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I was doing it with little kids, so I was always running back and forth.
Yeah, probably having to break up some fights too.
Yeah. They were all over the place.
Now, did your dad play baseball also?
My dad actually did not play baseball. He grew up playing basketball. He actually held a record at his high school for the most points scored in a game until Lou Williams, who plays for the Hawks now. Yeah. He broke it.
Oh, wow. That must have been kind of cool. Like, hey, at least if the record's going down, it's to somebody that made it in the NBA.
Right, and my dad played before they even had the 3-point line in high school, so he was only hitting 2s at the time.
Yeah, so it's sort of like it's like Roger Maris getting to 61 home runs with 154 games. There's a little bit of a disadvantage there.
Yeah.
So like, what got you into baseball? If like your dad didn't play, was it just something that you just kind of got interested in?
Yeah, like just growing up. I mean, I had a ball in my hand growing up. Like I know a lot of kids watch cartoons or play video games nowadays, but it was like I always wanted some sort of football or basketball or baseball in my hand, and then I would always just sit and watch ESPN. Actually, not really got into the cartoons.
Did you have? So I remember when I was a kid, I used to during the summer at least. I would sneak downstairs at like 10 o'clock and I'd put Baseball Tonight on because it was always 10 to 11. And I always really liked Harold Reynolds a lot. And I liked, they would occasionally have somebody like Lou Piniella on or somebody like that I really liked. But were there any of like the hosts on these like Sports Center shows or Baseball Tonight or just even like the Sunday Night Baseball people that you really liked?
No, I just liked growing up and just watching it. I mean, just to have it on, just watch everyone play. So like if it was basketball season, watching Kobe or LeBron when he was younger, it was cool and unique just watching them. And baseball, I like college football. I always have, so, as you can see.
Yeah. If you're listening to to just the audio of this, he's got a UGA hat on. That's University of Georgia. I don't follow college football a ton, but am I correct that that's University of Georgia?
Yes, that is.
God, that would have been really embarrassing if it was like, no.
No, I got the G on the side, so I don't know if you can't really see that, but
So when you got, I know that you were initially drafted in the 32nd round, and did you have a college offer?
I did. I was actually committed to Kennesaw State, which is a mid-major here in Georgia, probably about an hour from where I'm from. So I was committed there with one of my high school buddies.
So because 32nd round's pretty late. They don't even do that anymore. But
Right.
they gave you a pretty big signing bonus. What made you decide to go with the Red Sox versus playing college ball?
So I was actually at school when I started summer school. So we started July or June 8th, and it ran through July. But it was an opportunity that was given to me. It was just like, okay, you never know what could happen in the next 3 to 4 years. You could get injured or not be playing baseball. But it was just giving me the opportunity to do my lifelong dream and play baseball. I always grew up wanting to get in the MLB and work my way up and hopefully get there and debut one day. So it's just the opportunity that was laid ahead of me.
Yeah. Was it a difficult decision, or was it sort of like, okay, let's go?
No, it was a difficult decision, just because the my college coaches, they recruited me hard and they loved me, and it was like they really wanted me to. They believed in me, and it was just like, okay, I don't want to leave them, and it's like, okay, so I had to talk to my family about it, and I actually didn't sign until the last day of the signing period. I flew down there 2 days before that, went down and got all of my physicals done, and then it was like, okay, I got to sign on the last day, so that's when I signed.
How did the Red Sox present this to you when you came down there? Like what things were going to look like for you if you signed?
They told me my first year that I wouldn't really throw just because I threw a lot in high school. I threw over 70 innings, I think. Just because in high school and down here we run from uh, MLK Day all the way through May.
That is
So
a long season for high
we got a
school.
yeah, we got a long season. So they were just like, okay, we're just gonna get you acclimated to what we do here, and you'll throw. I think I threw 6 innings or something. It was like 2 innings was my max, and so I kind of just learned everything, learned a little bit about the Red Sox and how they go about things, and then it was just kind of just went through everything, learned about the weight room, what to do in the training room every day, and it was kind of just like a learning period that first year.
Yeah, so that first year, that was the when the Gulf Coast League was still a thing. So
Yep.
that was 2019. The year after that was the COVID season. What's that like for somebody who, as you said, you weren't pitching a ton that year. The next year, you probably would have at least started at Lowell. What did you do during that year?
So I actually was at spring training when they shut everything down. I mean, I guess everyone was there, but immediately I talked to my dad and I was like, "Hey, I really want to get better." And so we looked into like the best weight training facilities around, and I actually went down to Palm Beach and got a program for the weight room strength and conditioning side from Eric Cressy. Just because then I was 6'2" or 6'3", and I was about 185, 190. So it was like, okay, I need to have a good program so that I can put on some weight. So I went there, got my program, and I came home. And there's a place probably about 30 minutes that I go to. It's called Full Count Baseball, and I still go there. I've gone there since I've been a sophomore in high school, and I took my program and I was like, okay, this is my workout plan, and let's build a throwing program off of it. So I worked out about 6 days a week, and I was able to throw. They didn't shut we weren't or they weren't shut down technically. We had to clean everything and wear masks, but they had garage doors open. We actually built a mound on a backfield, so we call it's like our sandlot field. So and we would have live BPs going on back there. So there's a bunch of pro guys that would come out and then throw and get your workout in and work out there during that time.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about. You said Full Count.
Yep.
Yeah. What is this like an academy?
It's I would say it's kind of like Driveline, just not affiliated with Driveline, but it's just the Georgia Driveline, and so everyone from middle school all the way through pro guys, we got about 12 pro guys I want to say now that train there in the off season, and we're probably gonna have more this year because we got more college guys drafted there. And so we all go and train in the morning. We'll do our throwing and then work out and train. It's a good environment, so they treat us well there.
That's awesome. Anybody who's made it to the big leagues yet?
Actually, Buck Farmer with the Reds,
Yeah.
and then a rookie this year, Cole Waits with the Giants. He got called up late in the year.
Is there is there like a group chat that you guys have where when somebody comes up they post it on there?
Oh yeah, they posted on their Instagram and everything, and so everyone gets to know. We got a couple minor league guys, big names. Ethan Hankins with the Guardians. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Um, we got one with the Rangers. His name's Gavin Collier. One with the Angels. We got a couple guys in the Cardinals organization. So we got them everywhere. We got a couple guys drafted this year. Landon Sims, you probably heard of that name, Mississippi State.
Yeah, yeah.
He works out there, and so we got a couple new guys that are big. So
That's
we're
awesome.
we're
And the more,
excited.
yeah, no, it's like the iron sharpens iron sort of thing. I'm sure they learn from you, you learn from them. And that's got to be it's got to be a great thing to be a part of, especially when there isn't any official season going on. It's kind of like
Right.
you get a miniaturized version of that.
Right. And the two guys that are there that are run it, and they're really good. They take care of us, and they know what they're doing, and so we're fortunate to have TrackMan and Edge there, so we can kind of talk about each pitch and go through that kind of data wise.
That's really interesting. Did you have experience with the TrackMan stuff then before you were with the Red Sox?
I wouldn't say TrackMan. I would say a little bit of Rapsodo, but not really TrackMan until I got with the Red Sox, and then they kind of showed it to us, and like that first year when we would throw, we would always have it on, and so they would show us our numbers and talk about each thing. So we learned a little bit about it, and then each year my knowledge of that has grown a little better.
Do you get into the metrics of the numbers with that? Is that something that like you're like really interested in, or is it like like I just want to pitch, man?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both. Like, if I want to pitch for sure, and then it's like if during a game if I'm not feeling a sort of a pitch, and I want to go and look at it afterwards, and for my next start, I would go in there and try and figure out, hey, this like why was it doing why like curveball maybe why was it backing up, or fastball why wasn't it riding as much, like what am I doing? And so they'll like tell me, and we'll talk about it, sit down and talk about it a little bit.
Gotcha. So the next season, 2021, finally get on the mound pretty consistently. Were you just revved up and ready to go?
Yes, I was for sure ready to go. It's my first year. Came into spring training feeling really good about myself. Got to face live batters here in Georgia before I went, so it was like, okay, I kind of know what to expect. And when I got there, I was ready to go.
You had a pretty good season.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I would say I struggled a little bit at the beginning. Those first couple months just kind of get going in pro ball. It was tough. Like a bunch of guys that I was around, they were having success, and it was like I was struggling a little bit. So it's like, okay, I got to figure out how to really handle adversity for the first time. And so when I kind of like sat down with the pitching coach in Salem, Nick Green, we kind of talked through some things, and he was like, hey, there's no need to worry. You're young. They want to see you struggle a little bit and then see how you react to it. So we kind of sat down, we kind of talked through like what was going wrong at the time. And then it was like two bullpens, or a bullpen and a start. Everything just kind of clicked and got rolling. It was like, okay, like, and then my confidence grew.
Would you say that like building your confidence in that adversity was like your biggest reality check of hitting Salem? Or like what would be your biggest reality check if not that?
I would say that, because there was one point in the season, like, I mean, all of our pitchers we were doing good, and we were having success last year, and there were some guys that weren't really like focused, and they were slacking off a little bit. And we were in Delmarva one time, and I think we had lost 3 straight or something. And we sat down in the dugout, and Nick Green was like, "Some of y'all are about to get a reality check. Like some of y'all that aren't working hard, and y'all are gonna go down to back down to Fort Myers." So it kind of was like, it got in my head like, okay, like this might be you, like. But then it was like, okay. And we sat down afterwards. He was like, "No, it's not you. They want to see you struggle." So it's just like, okay. But it was just he was putting that out there in front of the whole group, so that we all kind of got that reality check, and we're like, all right, let's put everything together.
Yeah, kind of light a fire under your ass a little bit.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
But when you say that was like your first real like adversity, so you didn't really struggle that much, like your senior year or junior year of high school.
I would say my junior year of high school, I really didn't pitch. I think I pitched twice. It was in my junior year of high school season, I should say. I only pitched twice, and then I kind of got beat up those 2 times. So and I was like, okay, it's whatever. Like I'm still playing the field. Like I'm gonna get my ABs, but I wanted to pitch, but it was like I didn't really have to because we kind of had guys that were seniors that were pitching.
Right.
And then my senior year, it was like I had success. I was very successful. So it was just like I didn't really get to face that. I really didn't get to pitch against like I think I struggled one time my senior year in one start, but then all the other times it was like really good going 5 innings, or I think I had a pitch limit my senior year, but once I got to that 7-inning point, it was like, okay, I'm going 7 innings every time.
Yeah, and it was I feel like with that level of confidence, like it's just going to happen one way or the other. And then, you get to pro ball. It's been 2 years since you were in a real competitive game,
right?
Or 2, maybe even 3 years at that point, actually. What was it that got you some momentum? Because again, you ended the year with some pretty respectable numbers. What was it that really I don't want to say calm you down, but got you in the zone?
I would say the first half of the year I really didn't have a trustful off speed. I was struggling with my curveball and slider, like I couldn't really command it. And then we got a little stand-in batter for the bullpen sessions. So then I was just like, okay, let's just throw it for a strike, and then I could get a better visual of facing a batter in those situations, and it was like, okay, I can lead it into a game, and so that having a batter stand in there for the bullpens kind of transitioned better into a game when I was throwing everything, because I kind of knew a little bit better of a strike zone. And I could just throw my curveball, and like I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a curveball over, and I would just throw it in, and it's like, okay, then it'd be like 0-1, I want to bury one or throw a fastball. It's like just getting my visuals right kind of helped me.
At that level of the minors, is the catcher calling the game? Is the manager calling the game and telling you what to pitch going into it? How do you generally go into each at bat?
I would say it was a mixture of both. So at the beginning of the year, it was catcher and manager. So like in situations that the catcher kind of was still learning, it was like the manager would call. And then later on in the year, it was like, okay, the catcher's going to call like the whole game. And so once you got to that point, it's like, okay, you got to trust the catcher and rely on them. And once that I built a lot of trust in our catchers that we had there in Salem, Alex Arrow and at the time Jack Groshans. But I struggled with one guy, but then it was like, okay, you got to learn to call your own game. And once I figured that out, then it was everything kind of took off from there.
What makes, for you at least, like what do you like in your catcher when you're throwing to somebody? Like what do you? Because I've heard just at the Red Sox level, like Nathan Eovaldi really like throwing to Kevin Plawecki. People, just have they have their guys that they prefer throwing to. What is it for you that you like in a catcher?
I would say a catcher that's gonna cheer you on, that's gonna help you get in the zone. One that's for sure gonna block balls. So Alex Arrow, me and him really gelled, even though like that was his first year catching last year, and not many people know that. But with him behind the plate, you couldn't really tell that. He was going to block a lot of balls, and he's going to call a good game most of the time. And so you just got to have that confidence in them.
Yeah, catchers are just a different breed, man. They're like
Yeah.
they're like hockey players that just happen to play baseball. Some of these guys. So this part's probably going to suck a little bit to talk about, but I do have to ask, with your injury, what happened there?
So coming into spring training, I felt good. Had a lot of confidence in my changeup, and built that over the offseason because I really didn't have one last year, and so I really focused on that and had one. So I came into spring training early, so I got there beginning of February, like February 16th or 4th, I want to say, somewhere right in there that week. Came in ready to go. Got through my first live batting practice. Faced Blaze Jordan. He had a homer off of me. homer and a backside double. So I got to give my credit to him. But came into my second one, second live BP 3 days later. It felt good. Felt really good going into the day. I was excited. Got through my throwing program really good. Went through the bullpen, was feeling it like every pitch. Like I was feeling really good. And then got to the mound, and my first batter was Leando, who was in the FCL.
Yep, Albert Leando.
Really, really good. He's really good. But you throw, so like it's like 25 pitch. I think it was 25 pitches that day, and I got through the first three fine. Fourth pitch, catcher called a curveball. And I threw it good. He fouled it off, but felt a little pop, and then I didn't really think anything of it. So I got back up on the mound, and I threw another pitch, another curveball actually, and my forearm got really hot, and I was just like, that's not right. So I looked at Greenville pitching coach Kipper, and I was like, I'm done. And he looked at me and he's like, you got 20 more pitches to go. What are you talking about? So it's like, I felt a pop. So I just walked off the mound, and one of the trainers was there. And he was like looking at me like I was crazy. And I was just like, cause he was like, he knew something was wrong. And I was just like, I felt a pop in my elbow. So he did a couple tests there. It was like external right here. And I was like, oh, it feels good. Walking back, he was like, okay, let's go inside. So walking back into the locker room, we passed the head athletic trainer, Joel Harrison. He's like looking at me, and he's like, so he walked past us. But when we got inside, they let me go change, and then they did a couple tests, and I was like, okay, it feels good. So they were like, okay, we're gonna see what it feels like tomorrow. So when I woke up the next day, went to brush my teeth,
oh no,
squeezed the toothpaste, and I knew something was wrong because it didn't feel right. So the next day I went in, saw a team doctor, and he took first thing he did right here is external rotation, and I grimaced. I grimaced hard, and then that point they were like, okay, we're gonna get you an MRI. So when got an MRI, they were like, okay, you got to wait till next day to get the results. So it's just kind of hang out, sit around. Next day, go in. Joel pulls me aside and is like, hey, we gotta go into Abe's office. I was like, okay. Go into Abe's office and get told that the team doctor tells me there's three options. One, we can rehab your elbow. And he's like, that's not going to work. He said, two, we can go get a cortisone shot. A lot of guys get those, but they're like, that's not going to work. And he's like, the third option is you're going to have surgery. So I had a full reconstruction of the distal part, which is the bottom part, which is in your forearm. So full reconstruction and a brace put on that on March 17th. So St. Patty's Day, actually. So I'll remember that forever.
Probably going to have to wait a little bit after that to go out.
Yep.
That's, oh man. How do you, just from, like, did you know that it was going to be that bad when it first happened? Did you kind of have that idea?
I when it happened, yes, but then going through the test, no, because I felt good. I still had that adrenaline going through my body, so it's like, okay, I'm feeling good, like it's fine. Um, but then it kind of came like the next day, it kind of hit me. Well, actually, I wouldn't say the next day. I would say that day when I called my parents and told them I got hurt, that kind of hit me just because I knew it's devastating to them, like just to hear their son be hurt. So it's just like, okay.
And then
Yeah.
I have kind of a follow-up question. So, like, what's the recovery process for you? It's kind of a two-part question. Is the recovery process kind of something you do on your own, or do you do that in Fort Myers? And then, how do you stay motivated? Like, keep yourself motivated to push back?
So my first answer would be it's in Fort Myers. So we have physical therapists there, so they take care of us. Kevin and Andrew, they take care of us really good. And we have a rehab pitching coach and strength coach. So we got a bunch of guys there that got our back, and our mental skills guys are there. Um, and I would say motivation is like being around Thad Ward and Brian Mata and Brock Bell, especially. They had it, so they kind of went through it all together, and it's just like, okay, they helped me a lot. They helped me a lot just get through this process. That Thad Ward really did. But then we have mental skills guys. So like if you're ever like feeling down about yourself, they're gonna talk to you, and they got your back all the time. So like the group in Fort Myers that we had this year, we had a bunch of guys actually, as y'all know. So it's just like, okay, we all had each other's back, and we celebrate the small things. So like the first thing really is getting your brace off that you have. So and then everyone's like, okay, that's step one, and then it kind of just keeps going from there. It's like, okay, whenever you start, you can run, you can start using that arm and working out with it, and then it kind of leads into med ball throws and plyos, and then the throwing. We celebrate those little things, and we each got each other's back, and we root each other on.
Were you following when like when Mata and Ward were making their rehab starts? And I mean Ward, Mata and Ward both had very good seasons, and now
Yeah.
Ward's pitching in the Arizona Fall League. You guys all stay in touch with each other as the season's going on?
Oh yeah. Everyone drove to their first start. So like whenever they had it in the rookie ball or the Gulf Coast League or Fort Myers Complex League now, we drove there. So like they each had their first start at the Twins place. So the whole rehab guys, after we finished our workout, we drove over there and watched them, and we dumped water on them after they kind of finished their two innings or so. It was just like, okay, that kind of motivates us because it's like we're the next, like we're next there, and it's not way out of the way. It's like a couple months down the road. Let's grind, let's get better, so that then when we're there, it's like everyone can celebrate.
So you mentioned just having everybody to support you, which I guess leads to the question of how difficult is it to make that mental adjustment from going to, like I'm going to be pitching in, presumably high A this season to, okay, I'm not going to be pitching for a while and I'm going to have to be working my way back from this. Was that kind of a hard adjustment for you to make?
I wouldn't say it was that hard. I was 2 days after it happened. So it happened March 2nd, and by March 4th, I was like, okay, I know what I got to do. So now I'm locked in. Let's prepare ourselves for the year that we have ahead of us, so that then we can get back to that point where it's like, okay, let's keep the grind on to get up there to the next level.
Do you feel kind of relieved to have it out of the way? Because it just get away, because you hear about some of these, some guys getting hurt when they're in AAA, and then they kind of are back to square one and they have to build back up. But for you, I mean, you're a pretty young guy, so a lot of the time, Tommy John surgery, come back throwing 3 miles an hour harder. Is that something that you've thought about at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful it happened at that point in spring training. It's like my dad was like, "You're young," so and my agent Abe's, everyone was just like, "You're young, so if it's a good time to have it, it's now." And so I was like, okay, it's like that kind of helped me get through it a little bit faster. just because I know I'm young, and it's not like what you said. You're on the verge of making it to that next level and taking that step up, and then it's like I'm hurt. So it's like I'm grateful that it happened now. I definitely thought about it. I would say a couple just everyone having it, and it's just like okay, it's gonna come, but it's just like the when it's gonna happen. So it's just like that. It's
Yeah,
just like knowing it's gonna happen, but just I'm grateful that it happened now.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of weird to think about, though. Like that, every pitcher must have that in their back of their mind at some point. I feel like the guys that don't end up going through something like that these days are just so much rarer than the ones that do.
Yeah, and going to your point about throwing harder. I would say yeah, it's definitely like just in the back of my mind, but it's like I've already taken a pretty big jump since I got drafted in that 20 that I took advantage of that COVID year. So it's like okay, I know I have that in the tank. So it's like if that happens, like I would be grateful but it's like it's not really like a given thing. You got to work for it, and definitely taken advantage of this time. So if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Where are you at now with the rehab process?
I what's today? October 13th today.
Yep.
So I'm almost 7 months out, I would say, and I'm back to 75 feet throwing. So we're kind of taking it slow. If I was to follow my throwing program, I'd be ready in December. So it's just like to get off the mound. So we're gonna we slowed it down a little bit so that I'm ready in January to get off the mound and then take advantage of that and get into spring training and keep it going.
How are you feeling with it? You just excited for to get there, or is it kind of one day at a time?
Yeah, I'm excited to get there. Definitely, it's like okay, when can this happen? Like let's go, let's get it moving. It's like you have that, but then it's like okay, you need to take it slow because it's a very like stressful injury, and you got to build that stress back up on your arm. And so it's just like okay, take it day by day, and every time I get to go back further, it's like okay, that's a day closer, a week closer. So it's like okay, I'll be ready.
What's a piece of advice that you found helpful, either from one of the coaches, the medical staff, player? What's something that like that's made the process easier that somebody told you?
Just knowing that everyone comes back kind of stronger from this, and it's just like okay, I know I'm going to be stronger. So it's just like that's kind of helped me and motivated me a little bit, and then knowing that I have people behind that are got my back. So it's like if I ever need to tell anybody anything, then I go to the middle skills. If I'm ever like feeling sore, it's like okay, I got my trainers I can go talk to, and they can help me get like back to not being sore and work through that. So it's like everyone has my back. So it's like anything I have to go to and talk about, then I know they got me.
Tim had a question for you that I think is a really good one.
Yeah. So like this is kind of going into next year. Like, what are you most looking forward to improve into next year?
Improving?
Yeah, like improving on.
Improving would be just bettering my delivery a little bit, just because I've had this time off, and it's like, okay, I got to starting in like end of July, I got to start doing stuff with my lower half off the mound. And so it's like, okay, I want to be better that way. And just the little things like shortening my arm a little bit, making sure I'm on time with everything. It's just like that's going to be really like what I'm looking forward to is like getting off the mound and that translating to the mound and then just getting back out there and competing. And hopefully helping wherever I am affiliate wise win a championship next year.
So like you're talking about like messing with your mechanics. So what do you think like what about your mechanics needs like the improvement, like the bottom half, your arm slot, anything like that?
I wouldn't say really my arm slot or anything. I was really long in the back of like my arm swing, so I was really long there. And so we're just trying to shorten that up just a little bit so it's more efficient. And then lower half wise, I would say I really got over my toe a little bit last year, so my momentum was going more to third base first and then to home. and now I just want to like stay in my foot and I would say hinge a little better. I don't know if kind
Mhm.
of sit back into your butt a little bit and then get down the mound as fast as I can.
Is the plan for you to start spring training off just kind of like a normal spring training?
I don't know yet. I hope so. They haven't really told me that far yet, so but
Yeah.
I hope so. Hopefully I'll get out of there into spring training a couple weeks after, but that's hopefully my goal. But we'll see. I know they got the best interest for me, and they're gonna look out for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's gotta be good to know that you'll be back at some point next year. But I'd
yeah,
be if it were me, I'd be so anxious to just get back out there. Just like, okay, can I do it today? Can I do it today?
right. No, I'm anxious for sure, but they just want to make sure that my arm has enough time to heal, and they don't want to rush it. So they want to give me that full 13 months is really like the average get back to playing. So it's somewhere. So hopefully it's the 13 months, and I'm pushing for end of spring training or a couple weeks after.
Yeah. I mean, are you planning on like? Do you think you'll be in Fort Myers with the rest of your teammates at least?
Yes, I will be. So I would be there right now, but because of the hurricane, I came home. And I'm going back down there the 30th, October 30th. So I'll be
Yeah.
there the whole off season.
Yeah, we saw some of the visuals of what's happened down there. How's everybody doing?
Doing good. They're all. I guess they just got back in the facility the other day. Some companies had taken over because that was really the county owns that, and that was really like the home base for everything operations wise. So we weren't allowed to be there, but I think everyone's getting back to normal. The beach is really messed up, but Um, I'm sure they'll have that like cleaned up, and hopefully people will start building again soon up there. I know a lot of us would go there and hang out, and so it's like kind of just to see that it's just like it's devastating.
Yeah, no, Fort Myers is such a cool town. The
It
people
is.
there are so nice.
Yep.
So gotta just hope that things get back to normal pretty quickly and that it's a
Yes.
speedy recovery process. That's
Right. Right.
really sucks that happened down there. Did like where you're from in Georgia get hit at all? Or I'm not sure with like as
No.
far as where.
So it actually cut around. Like the original. I don't know diagram. It was supposed to come up towards Georgia, but it just crossed the whole state of Florida and went through Orlando and it went out in Jacksonville and then went up to South Carolina. But here it didn't. We didn't get anything. We might have had a winds,
Right.
but not too strong.
Yeah, nothing like what happened down there. But
Right.
yeah, on a completely different note, what do you like to do outside of baseball?
Ooh. Outside of baseball, I would say I like. Everyone likes to golf, but so I like to golf. I'm not good, but I mean I have fun golfing. I like to fish. I'm actually taking some classes at Northeastern University, but just online.
Oh,
Just
cool.
trying to knock out a degree,
Yeah.
but
What are you
slowly.
studying?
So, business management.
That's cool. Is it just like it's the online program?
Yep, yep. All my classes will be online, but just get a degree, hopefully, and get it out of the way.
What
Yeah,
do you
maybe.
fish for? Oh, my bad, Ed.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Uh,
I didn't have anything relevant to say there.
what do you fish for down there in Georgia? Because I live right by a lake up here in New York, and I fish for like trout, perch, and salmon and stuff like that a lot.
I go fishing for bass. Like we'll go to a lake and go largemouth bass fishing or striper, which is another type of that's a bass.
Yeah.
So I like to do that. I mean, I do it at the facility in Fort Myers because we got a couple ponds there. So I go in there and throw out there.
Nice.
Have you had any encounters with alligators in Fort Myers?
I did. I have.
Really?
There was one actually in my condo like facility. They got a couple ponds, so there's some now that live there. So I live on there's a golf course in my community, little par 3 golf course. And I one day after surgery, like when I like 12 weeks out, I could start chipping. And so I just went out there, took some balls, and there was a gator on the other side of the green. And I hit a couple balls over there, so it was scary going to get those. But and then they'll walk across the road and stuff, so it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I've been down there a few times. I've never seen one, but I'm always on the lookout.
Yeah, there was actually one that was on a little one that was actually on the side of the road beside the facility that actually like someone ran over, but but it was just laying there. So,
did you see that video with like the shark that was in the middle of Fort Myers?
Yeah, that was funny. I don't know. I guess I don't know how to react to that. Like, it was funny, but then at the same time, it's I guess a bad situation. But hopefully, it found its way back to the water.
No, it was. I know exactly what you mean. Though. It's just like this is reality. What's going on here?
I feel bad for laughing, but I can't help it.
Yeah, right. So it was funny. There were some funny things that we got to see, I guess.
Do you find that you still follow baseball as a fan at all?
All the time. I'm always watching baseball.
You've been watching the playoffs then
yes.
the last couple of weeks. What do you think so far? When this comes out, we might know who's in the World Series at this point. So this will be an interesting timepiece. But what do you think?
I think they've been good so far. A couple like close games, exciting games. All the upsets I would say in the wild card games, like those are pretty cool. Seeing the Phillies win and they're back in the playoffs they're going home for the first time in 11 years in the playoffs. So that's pretty cool. And then the Mariners going up there and beating the Blue Jays, that was definitely good to see. AL East team lose.
Yeah,
it was definitely good to see.
We've been saying that the AL East, the Blue Jays and the Rays have exactly as many playoff wins this year as the Red Sox.
Yeah. There's someone I know that actually is with the Rays, and I would always give them a hard time. And I was like, you can say you're in the playoffs, but we're both going to be sitting at home watching it together. So it's like you made it. You just played 2 extra games for no reason, basically.
There was actually something that Tim and I were talking about before we started that I'm kind of curious your thought on it, which was the Mariners going with Robbie Ray to pitch to Yordan Alvarez there. What did you think of that decision?
I mean, you got the best pitcher against one of the best hitters in the game. It was like, okay, I mean, someone's got to win. He just left the pitch right there so that he could hit. So.
Yeah,
I say that's tough.
I got it with the lefty-lefty matchup and also him being their big money signing. But it's also like it's like with Judge. Like, why are you throwing to this guy here?
Right.
At the same time, it's sort of like he's so good of a hitter as it is. And then you put him in the playoffs. Like, I remember, watching the Red Sox go up against Houston last year, and it was just like every time this guy came to the plate, he was killing them.
Yep. No, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to get guys out in the playoffs. I mean, you can if you watch the Braves' first game, Max Fried struggled. He couldn't get guys out with 2 outs. So it's just like that's the best baseball to be a part of and play. It's like guys are going against guys all the time, and no one's gonna just give in.
Is there a major league player or currently active or in the past that you kind of compare yourself to, or are you just Bradley Blalock?
Yeah, I guess I would say I'm just myself. Spring training, I got to hang out, or I got to be in a group with a couple of our guys. I got up there this year, Caleb Orr and Zach Kelly. So they're dudes. Definitely liked being around them. So it was good.
Yeah, we had Zach on here a couple months ago before he got the call up, and I remember I got a press pass for one of the games for the Woo Sox, and I'm kind of like I've never had a press pass before, and I'm kind of just sitting in the dugout, like watching Tristan Cassis take batting practice, and somebody comes behind me and just goes, "Hey, Ed," and then runs out on the field, and it's Ord and it's Zach, and I'm kind of like, Did he recognize me? No, I didn't hear that right. And then he's coming back in after shacking fly balls, and he's like, "Hey, Ed, good to see you." Yeah. And it was like one of the most validating experiences I think that I've ever had just like since I've been following baseball, just because like there's this, this guy who came up to the majors, and this was a little bit before that, but it was like we kind of knew he was going to do a good job when he got there. Just the fastball changeup difference is so good for him. But like that strikes me as the kind of guy that he is, though, where he just, you know what I mean? Like he says hello to everybody, and it doesn't matter if you're like, like an 18-year-old who just got drafted or just some dude in the stands. He's just like, just such a nice guy. And I agree. Yeah.
I would say they were really good, just because they kind of took me under their wing, and they're like, okay, we're going to teach you a little bit while you're here. So it's like, okay, I got to learn from them, and they talked about their experiences, and it was cool just to be around them.
Yeah, no, they're, but from guys that you actually played with, like in Salem, like who were some of your teammates that you liked playing with, that you were like, man, this kid's going to be good one day?
I mean, I would say I like playing with my whole team. We were really good last year. We just struggled that last week of couldn't get in the playoffs. But I would say a couple of my closest buddies that played with me last year was Nick Northcutt, Nick York, Aaron Perry, Brendan Walter, a bunch of those guys that were there start the year. We kind of built a good relationship and foundation with each other, and we always would hang out with each other, and we'd go play golf or something. So we would always be around each other.
Is it pretty for Walter? I mean, he just shot through the system last year, and now he's probably getting added to the 40-man. I would think. Were you surprised to see that, or were you kind of like, no, he's that good?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was surprised. In 2019, when we were both in FCL together, it was like I knew he was good. I knew he was going to be good. Everyone just had to give him a chance. And then he took advantage of the COVID year, came back stronger and throwing harder. And I knew when he was there in Salem, and when he first made his first start of the year, it was like, okay, like this guy's going to be a dude. So I knew he was going to be good.
Yeah, we had when we had Cole Cottamon back in April, we were asking him. It was just like, what's the best single pitch you've seen somebody throw? And he had been catching for Nathan Eovaldi in spring training and all their big league guys, and he said he didn't even hesitate. He goes, Brandon Walter's slider.
Yeah, it's literally a frisbee, and it's going. If you're a lefty, it's going to end up in the right-handed batter's box. His two seam and changeup are really good too. Like to play off that slider, like those are really good.
Because it was such like a weird injury that he had this year too, that kind of took him out for the end of it. But I get the feeling that he's going to be up on the big league team by June if he stays healthy. Just they'll want him to get his starts at a AAA and everything. But that's
right.
That's like with Sox prospects, what we'd call a high floor player, just because of how well those pitches play. What do you think is your best pitch?
What
would you consider your best pitch?
I would say my fastball, and then slider, then curveball. Fastball, everyone should say that's their best pitch, because you want to get guys out with that. Even though that's probably the most hittable pitch, but you want to get guys out with that. My fastball is like it rides and cuts a little bit, so it plays up in the zone. So it kind of helps my curveball, which is more of a 12-6 shape, and that plays in the bottom of the zone. And then the slider, when I have good feel for it, I'm gonna throw that over for a strike anytime.
Have you gotten to pitch to any big leaguers yet? Maybe that were who have you gotten to throw to?
So my COVID year, I actually got to throw to Matt Olson with the Braves.
Oh damn!
So that was pretty cool.
Oh right, he's from around there.
Yeah, he is. He's actually from one of my rival high schools. So that was pretty cool. I got to throw to a couple big leaguers that day, but that's probably the name that stands out to me the most.
How'd you do?
I did good. He wasn't really swinging, so he was just kind of getting his timing down a little bit. So actually, the next guy that he faced, he had a homer off of.
So you were kind of like, okay, well, all right.
Yeah. Yes.
So I got two more questions for you, and I'll let Tim wrap us up. But you mentioned before that when you were in high school you were hitting all the time. Were you kind of a little disappointed when they got rid of the pitcher batting? Like, even though, AL team with the Red Sox,
Yeah, I would
still
say
into the play and everything.
Yeah, I would say for sure. I mean, if I ever got up there, I was definitely gonna take some hacks and hopefully hit a homer. But now that it gives that advantage to hitters. You're probably gonna score more runs now, so you can pitch a little. Uh, I don't know if you can't really get in a free out now, so it's just like, okay, got to get 9 guys out. But it definitely was sad they took that away.
Yeah, no, I always really liked the difference between the AL and the NL. I thought it was kind of fun, but then also, like guys like Jin-Min Wong kind of getting hurt in his career, ending a bit prematurely because of it too. I can kind of see both sides of it. But
I wish they would do it in like the All-Star game or something, just to be unique and have something different.
You know what would be kind of cool? A home run derby for just pitchers.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Dude, I've been saying they should do that at the All-Star game for like 3 years now.
That'd be fun.
So this is my final question. I always end on this one. Do you have any pets?
Do I have any pets? I have 2 dogs.
What kind?
One is a Pomeranian and Tibetan Spaniel, and she is 13 years old. So I got her when I was young. And then the other is a Jack Russell, and I don't know what else because we rescued him, but he has some other breed in him. And he is 7. So got 2 puppies.
Oh man, they're kind of she was sitting next to me for most of this. I've got she's like a Corgi Chihuahua Jack Russell Terrier mix. And she was also a rescue, so we're not 100% sure what kind she is. But do you know, it's like, do they let you bring the dog with you, like to Fort Myers or Salem?
Yeah, if you have a dog, you can take it with you. I don't know if you can take it on road trips, but they don't. You can have dogs. A couple guys have some pets that are like there with us, so it's pretty cool just being around them. We actually have a dog at the Fort Myers field, Homer. It's the clubby's dog, and he's a bulldog, and he's older, and everyone loves him. He's fun.
That's awesome.
If you ever come down to spring training, he might be running around like chasing a golf cart. He does that a lot.
I haven't been since 2017, but you're definitely giving me added motivation to do that.
Yeah.
I think this is the summer I go down.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
It's fun. It's fun definitely being around there and seeing the younger guys play hard. And, it's different from the younger guys to, I would say, affiliate ball, but they're working hard all the time, and they're getting better.
You got anything to send us home with, Tim?
Just best of luck on your recovery and best of luck going into next year.
Thank you again for having me on here.
Oh man, no, this was great. Thank you so much again for coming, and just for anybody listening who wants to follow you, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Blalock_12, and then my Twitter is Bradley, I think _Blalock. I don't know, something like that. I'm sure if you just type in my name, it'll come up though.
Can confirm that is how it that is how it comes out. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We'll be back next week. We've got I believe we've got Kier Meredith coming on soon, and Nathan Landry, who was part of the draft class from this season, a relief pitcher. So we'll see you guys then, and we'll certainly be keeping in touch with you, Bradley.
Yeah, sounds good. You got two dudes coming on soon, so those will be good.
Yeah, we cannot wait.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pesky Report. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.